credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Good evening to you. I'm Ryan Broom with the Thursday, October 12th edition of the CBC Evening News. In our top story, a man of honor, dignity, and high standards. That's how former Governor General Sir Clifford Husbands is being remembered by Prime Minister Frundle Stewart following his passing just after 11:30 last night. Kareem Smith tells us more.
I'm here at the residence of the late former Governor General, where the mood is somber. I spoke to his daughter, and she says that family members are not yet in a position to make a public statement. However, speaking to some of his contemporaries, we get the sense that his legacy is one that will withstand the test of time. Early in the day, Prime Minister Frundle Stewart paid tribute to the former Governor General, describing him as an asset to public life. He says Sir Clifford made an outstanding contribution as a judge in both the high and appellate courts, and finally as the island's longest-serving Governor General. Mr. Stewart says Sir Clifford displayed outstanding personal habits, including the way he carried himself, as well as the standards he set for himself and those around him.
With his passing, an era has now ended, and Barbados is the poorer, the legal profession is the poorer, and the public life of Barbados is the poorer. But we remember him with profound gratitude for the impressive service he rendered to this country. It was always my sense that wherever he was serving, there was a spirit of contentment. It was never my sense that he was never happy with what he was doing. Whatever he was called upon to do, he did to the best of his ability.
Former Chief Justice Sir David Simmons also paid tribute and says he became familiar with Sir Clifford over their long-standing careers in the legal profession. And it was while Sir Clifford was serving as Director of Public Prosecutions that he recognized the qualities one was obliged to admire.
He was a stickler for protocol. He did what was right and proper. You could always rely on his word. If he gave you his word that he was going to take a plea, you could be sure that he would stand by his word.
Sir David says Sir Clifford was very wary of fraternizing too loosely, but it was in more intimate settings that he displayed a mischievous sense of humor. Meanwhile, opposition leader Mia Motley described the life and career of Sir Clifford as one which represented the best of Barbados.
I would like to express my deep regret at the passing of our former Governor General, Sir Clifford Husbands. His was a life and career that represented the best of Barbados. Sir Clifford's 15 years of service as the representative of our head of state was characterized by charm, confidence, competence, and a strong sense of duty. This allowed him to maintain the honor and dignity associated with the office. He was a stickler for decorum and punctuality and the maintenance of standards.
Sir Clifford served as Governor General of Barbados from 1996, when he was appointed after the death of Dame Nita Barrow. His wife, Lady Ruby Husbands, died in 2009. He served under Prime Ministers Owen Arthur, the late David Thompson, and current Prime Minister Frundle Stewart until he retired on October 31st, 2011. To mourn, he leaves 3 children, Sandra Dawn, Anthony, and Laura Husbands. Kareem Smith, CBC News.
And we at the CBC also extend our condolences. Now, in other news, the Barbados Fire Service has been hit by a sick-out. CBC News understands that since last weekend, officers have been reporting sick for duty. Again, Kareem Smith has more.
At the heart of the matter has been the return of scores of fire officers who went to Dominica to assist in the recovery efforts in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria. It has been reported that those officers were asked to resume normal duties as soon as they had returned without any counseling.
I'm told that there were some discussions with the Fire Officers Association, and somewhere along the line there's been a breakdown in communication. I don't want to get into he say, she say, etc. Suffice to say that there seems to be a bit of a breakdown in communication, and one matter has not been linked to other matters. For example, I'm advised there was an issue of one officer taking the truck out for about 7 hours and no one knowing where he was with the truck, etc. So these matters have been mixed.
Home Affairs Minister and Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite says the situation has his full attention and he will be discussing it with those in authority to find a solution to the matter.
The fire officers who went to Dominica went beyond the call of duty. They weren't sent. These guys put their hands up and say, we are willing to go to put our lives on the line for our brothers and sisters in Dominica. As such, as a government and as a people, we should do whatever is required to ensure that their health and safety is at the maximum. If they require some additional time off, I will ensure as minister that it is done. If they require counseling or anything like that, I will ensure that the minister that it is done. This is not a difficult matter. This matter should not be contentious at all.
Efforts to reach head of the Barbados Fire Service Association, Corey Bridgman, and Chief Fire Officer Errol Maynard have been unsuccessful so far. Kareem Smith, CBC News.
And the last set of fire officers are actually set to return from Dominica tonight. In other news, with jobs being in high demand, the Labour Minister, Senator Dr. Esther Bayer-Suckoo, believes more creative and new approaches are needed to prepare young job seekers for the world of work. She made remarks at the opening of the second World of Work showcase at the Lloyd Erskine Sanford Center. Rianne Phillips tells us more.
Secondary school students turned out in their numbers at the Lloyd Erskine Sanford Center for the second World of Work showcase. That event was geared at preparing future employees to fit in the working environment. And Labour Minister Senator Dr. Esther Bayer-Suckoo believes similar events are needed as some job seekers lack critical skills.
Because it seems that today's family and society are not necessarily reinforcing these behaviors. Behaviors like respect, fairness, being a team player, sociability, and workplace etiquette that you'll be hearing a lot about today. These are values that it seems, I'm told, that workers came into the workplace with decades ago, but they're not coming into the workplace with these values anymore.
Many students who attended the sessions were pleased with the information they gathered.
I think that is actually like a really good thing because not many schools reach out about these things, like work and stuff. It's really about schoolwork. So I think that it's a really good program, and I think that they should expand it more and let other schools come also.
I think the session is a really good session because most people don't really know what to expect when going into the workplace. So to actually persons to help you understand what happens in the workplace and what to do and proper etiquette was really interesting.
As a teenager these days, it's hard to get work probably because of how we speak or how we may dress. So it would be good to get some points and some views on how you're actually supposed to be in the workplace.
I think this is a great experience to find out more about the world of work and what happens in the workplace. This will help me with my SBA.
I really love it because it inspires children like myself and children from different schools to actually open their mindset and like view different things throughout Barbados and throughout the world and stuff.
Organizers want to see more support for the World of Work showcase in the future.
You're all well aware that the school curricula is overloaded and cannot accommodate all aspects of the work-life program. So it's for this reason that we thank those schools that have chosen to be part of this event today. Today I will make the call for all principals and guidance counselors in our public and private secondary schools to take a careful look at what this program offers and move to embrace it so that it complements the work that they are already doing.
Along with the workshops, students also had the chance to visit business exhibits to learn more about their operations. One lucky student who attended the session will be in line for an attachment in December with Duty Free Caribbean. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
In other news, Barbadians in need of help have another avenue to which they can turn. The Red Foundation, the brainchild of Stetson Red Plastic Bag Wheelchair, was launched yesterday at a Pure Ocean restaurant. Lisa Broom was there and files this report.
He's arguably the undisputed Calypso King of Barbados. For some, he is a living legend, and now he is the driving force behind the newest venture to help people in need and bring about social change across the island.
I came from very humble beginnings, and I know what it is to struggle. I know what it is to have to share. And from going around, having done my tank program a few years back and speaking to children across schools and speaking to head teachers and people involved in education especially, I've recognized that so many people out there are in need of assistance.
That's what motivates the musical maestro, who says helping out the Sterling's Children's Home in St. Philip has been one of his pet projects over the years. But now the foundation provides a wider platform to do more. And he plans to continue working closely with the Barbados associations across the diaspora to do that.
For years we've underestimated the contributions that are made by the diaspora. I believe that the diaspora's contribution to Barbados is second only to tourism. I think that they've done an excellent job in terms of helping Barbados in terms of the contributions that they make back home. And I just wanted to state that because sometimes it goes unseen and unheard of.
Chairman of the foundation, hotelier Alvin Jemmett, says the criteria to determine who the foundation will help still has to be defined. He adds that several fundraising activities are being considered, but one of the earliest could be a blue ball scheduled for November.
The degree to which we will be able to help and to lend that support, of course, will be charted by the degree to which people come on board and support the foundation. And I've already gotten some feedback from some of our pillars in our society, in the business community, that they're willing to be in support of RPB and his foundation. So it's early days, but we will be keeping people informed, and we will be very transparent in all the things that we do in terms of the charities.
One of the other areas of concern for the foundation is Bag's fellow Calypsonians, some of whom he says achieved the heights of success while living in poverty. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
Thanks, Lisa. Well, we take a pause here, but we'll have more news after the break.
We listened to what you had to say and tore up the old rules, because losing what you paid for is just wrong. Now lost data and talk are a thing of the past. Only Digicel gives you unlimited rollover data and talk. Just buy and renew your Quick Pick bundle before it expires and keep what's rightfully yours. Never lose what you don't use. Go to My Digicel app to bundle up and roll over today. Digicel.
Community Files. Be part of activities for Mental Health Month. The Psychiatric Hospital is hosting a number of activities during the month of October. A health fair will be staged on the grounds of the hospital in Blackrock Main Road, St. Michael, on Friday, October 13th at 10 a.m. A staff concert takes place at the Queen's Park Steel Shed on Saturday, October 14th at 7 p.m. And join the fun run and walk from the Psychiatric Hospital on Blackrock Main Road to Brandon's Beach, St. Michael on Sunday, October 15th, beginning at 3:30 p.m. In addition, they will host 2 five-a-side football matches on Monday, October 16th and Wednesday, October 18th on the hospital's grounds. Both will start at 5 p.m.
Do you want audience numbers? Over 140,000 people are watching Morning Barbados and the evening news. 6 out of 10 top radio personalities are found right here at the CBC. CBC delivers the audience you need.
Can the great duo of LeBron and D-Wade back together again do it? Can Carmelo teaming up with Westbrook and George do it? Or will Curry and the Warriors dominate once again? Catch all your NBA basketball action starting October 17th on MCTV's Sportsmax channel. MCTV, the right choice.
Welcome back. Well, veteran trade unionist and independent Senator Sir Roy Trotman says the Employment Sexual Harassment Prevention Bill 2017 must seek to bring about a change in behavior. He was speaking during debate in the Senate on the new legislation.
While this bill speaks to there being a prevention act, I would want to caution that the legislation itself and by itself can hardly be what is required. The act cannot in itself prevent the abuse. The hope, therefore, has to be that the legislation will act as a deterrent.
Meanwhile, a government senator is concerned about the direction some trade unions are going as a result of their leaders. Senator Reggie Hunt says those at the forefront of such bodies should not play politics with the workers of Barbados.
This militant trying to hide the affiliation, but it has to come out in the end. How are they hurting? Who are they hurting? The country. But no, they can't help their politics. I'm against that. And I would say anywhere, anytime. And some of them, of course, got educated by the same government that they want to fight. I will not go for that. But as far as the union as an institution is concerned, I have great respect for it. Because it has played an important role in the development of this country.
In other news, a plan to transform the way children are taught in schools is in the last phases of being rolled out. Principals and leaders of the 60 primary schools have been meeting at the Erdison Teachers Training College over the last 2 days to be taught the basics of the School Teacher Effectiveness Plan, or STEPS initiative. Deputy Chief Education Officer for Planning and Development, Roderick Rudder, explains that under the STEPS program, teachers are required to write their lesson plans based on the different ways each student learns.
Teachers will be planning according to the needs of specific students and giving them opportunities to immerse in learning activities at their level and at their pace to coincide with their abilities, so that each child would have an opportunity to develop his or her learning potential to the maximum within the context of that classroom. So the focus of attention now would be on what the students need to know, how they learn, and what they can produce and demonstrate as a result of the exercises which teachers will take them through.
And Mr. Rudder does not believe it does not expect to place any additional burden on the teachers.
It would require more time for planning and more resources that would be applicable to the modern child's needs. You will be aware that most children these days are more engaged with regard to the various types of technologies. And what teachers will be seeking to do is to maximize the use of the technologies to plan and execute the delivery of instruction within the context of the classroom.
Meanwhile, Belmont Primary is one of 8 schools where STEPS was piloted, and Principal Pamela Eiffel has seen positive results. She admits it was challenging at first because of the changes required, but teachers became more receptive once they started to see the benefits.
We're getting children to think critically, to be more involved in their learning, to examine why they do what they do. And then there's also been the thrust to use a lot of hands-on activity. So I find that my children are very excited. You know, when they see the activities come out, they are all gung-ho, ready to work. And I've always believed that children learn best when they are enjoying what they do. And I find that sometimes they're not even recognizing that they're learning the general, regular concepts. It seems to them more fun and play, and they're actually developing the concepts that we want them to develop. They're actually strengthening those learning experiences.
In other news, a local charity has stepped up to help parents who wish to homeschool their children. President of the African Heritage Foundation, Paul Rock, says the idea came after the Rastafarian couple hauled before the law court last year for failing to send their children to school.
Over the last year, we have been developing what we call our home-directed learning service, which is actually a homeschooling service. And this service helps parents with their application to the ministry to homeschool. It helps parents with developing tailored curricula based on the needs of their children. We also have assistance for parents who have challenges with particular areas of administering the areas of their curricula.
Mr. Rock says his organization has helped at least 4 local families so far and is hoping to establish a physical location for classes which will be known as a Barbados Al-Kibulan Academy for Social Empowerment. Noting that parents are more or less on their own once the Ministry of Education grants permission to homeschool their children, he says his organization is seeking to fill that void.
Maybe we can become an official, what do you call it, branch of the homeschooling, branch of the ministry, whatever, you know. The African Heritage Foundation sees that non-governmental organization, NGOs, grassroots organizations, they are very important in helping deliver some of these services that are needed to the people. You know, the government can't do everything. So what we're really trying to do is build a model of something that the government can hold on to and probably implement within their own education system.
Well, at present, Mr. Rock says the curriculum mainly caters to infants and juniors and includes subjects like maths, English, social studies, sign language, health, and introductory Spanish. In other news, while it's known as the I'm a Girl movement, the boys were not left out when the grouping held its second youth conference. Founder of the program, which targets girls ages 5 to 18, Aliane Olivier, says it's important to get the perspectives of young men as well. Sharika Griffith has more.
Under the theme 50 More, the conference is seeking to devise a plan for Barbados for the next 50 years, with inputs from the country's young people. To help them along, there were presentations on 3 major topics: leadership, entrepreneurship, and social impact. While the event is being hosted by the I Am a Girl movement, female students from several secondary schools weren't the only ones in attendance.
Because it's the International Day of the Girl Child, we felt like we needed to have both perspectives. And boys bring a strong perspective, but at the same time, they also may not understand how they are contributing, whether positively or negatively, to the agenda. And it was important for us to include them to ensure that we change any negativity to positive, but at the same time get their perspective of how girls as well can contribute to their development.
The students taking part in the conference will become ambassadors of the campaign and will be exposed to training and other capacity building opportunities over the next 2 years. Ms. Olivier says the program practices a holistic approach by not only providing coaching for girls, but also people they interact with at home, school, or in the community.
Although our primary beneficiaries are girls, at the core of it is to ensure that all sectors of individuals surrounding girls are impacted as well through our capacity building, whether that be community leaders, whether that be parents and guardians, whether that be institutions and teachers, whether that be guidance counselors and social workers. We ensure that in different elements of our program they are involved to combat the idea that they are not alone.
The initiative has garnered support from the Sagicor K-Phil School of Business. The school's program director, Dr. Ann Wallace, believes exposing both mentees and their families to the same techniques could be the key to reclaiming lost values without going back in time.
We always hear, all things in the good old days were. Well, we are not going back to the good old days. We believe that initiatives like I'm a Girl will serve to bring back wholesome behaviors with modernity as a cornerstone, where technology, drama therapy, and creative expression are tools of learning and development. This kind of program serves to redirect energy from criticism to mentorship of young people.
The I Am a Girl community was established in 2014 with just 10 girls and 5 volunteers. Today, it caters to 150 girls and has over 1,000 volunteers. Sharika Griffith, Cbc News.
Thanks, Sharika. Well, still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region.
This year, Quartz is saying thank you to all of our shoppers. We have enjoyed serving you through the years, and we take this time to thank you for choosing us. As always at Quartz, we have you in mind with great offers, gifts, and prizes in store for you this season. For your chance to enter the Quartz Thank You Sweepstakes, just spend $799 and over.
As we look to the future, we promise to give you exceptional service and great products at the best prices.
Quartz, bringing value home.
Diamond Dazzler, it's time to play. Diamond Dazzler, the new instant $250,000 scratch game from the Barbados Lottery. Available at select lottery outlets.
Help support the restoration efforts for the hundreds of thousands affected by catastrophic hurricanes. Donate to the Red Cross Hurricane Relief account at any branch of the following: CIBC First Caribbean, account number 10011633436. First Citizens, 500-900-00588. RBC Royal Bank, 210-05073. And Republic Bank, 01804-153-1001. Monies raised will be sent to the International Red Cross for its restoration work for affected persons. Appeal closes 30th November 2017. Persons wishing to post checks should make these out to Red Cross Hurricane Relief Appeal account and post to Barbados Red Cross Society, P.O. Box 300 Bridgetown, or hand deliver to the Red Cross Warrens headquarters. The Barbados Red Cross and commercial banks, on behalf of the victims of catastrophic hurricanes, thank all persons and businesses for their contributions.
In Trinidad and Tobago, JTUM leader Ansel Roger is warning of riots in that country after delivering a letter to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley on what he describes as austerity measures in the national budget. Roger and groups of labor federations have joined together in an attempt to reverse some of the fiscal measures. CNC3's Otto Carrington has the report.
The joint trade union movement is warning government that there will be riots in this country. The movement's leader, Ansel Roger, was referring to statements made by Finance Minister Colm Imbert at an IMF function when he said citizens did not riot despite the reduction in the fuel subsidy. Today, Roger, along with other labor federations, delivered a letter to the office of the Prime Minister highlighting their concerns about the 2018 national budget.
He did, in his most usual arrogant style, say to the IMF forum last year that, well, I raised fuel costs once, there was no riot. I raised it again and there was no riot. I might raise it again in the next budget. And that has become a reality. What has not become a reality as yet is what is going to become a reality very soon, that the riot that he beckoned and he spoke about, it is time for this country to riot to put this place in order.
The trade unions have had several meetings since last Monday's budget, describing the fiscal package as anti-worker. He says he wants an urgent response from the Prime Minister.
This is urgent, and the budget debate is continuing, and we expect by the time that budget debate has been concluded and the Minister, Finance Minister has been given an opportunity to respond, we expect that he will retract this most anti-people austerity measure given to him by the IMF and the World Bank.
JTUM and other trade unions say they will commence public education campaigns nationwide. Roger says it's an effort to educate the population about the measures in the budget.
We are going to be going from east, west, north and south, all of the cardinal points, all of our main town centers and so on in this country, mobilizing, making the population aware of the deception that was committed on them in this budget.
The cash-strapped Jamaica Urban Transit Company Limited is currently implementing an exercise to reduce the number of workers at the overstaffed state-owned bus company, which has nearly 500 more employees than it needs. Managing Director of the beleaguered entity, Paul Abrams, told members of Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee yesterday that the company was spending an additional $25 million per month, which translates to $300 million per year, to pay the unnecessary 500 workers. Abrams, who left the company in 2012, said that at the time of his departure, the company was operating 400 buses with 1,780 workers. The managing director said that the company's staff complement had surged to 2,250 when he returned in May last year. He made it clear that he did not employ the additional persons. And Trinidad and Tobago carrier Caribbean Airlines, or CAL, is scheduled to operate special flights out of the Eugene F. Correa International Airport in Guyana as work continues to expand the main airport, the Chedijagan International. According to the public relations officer for the Chedijagan International, from last Friday until November 2nd, the runway at the main airport will be closed from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. to facilitate work being done on the runway. CAL says it will operate small flights between Trinidad and Tobago and the Eugene F. Correa International during that period. All sports is next, but here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
The Barbados Cancer Society Breast Screening Program is located at Henry's Lane, Lower Colombo Rocks in Michael. Telephone number is 436-8888. This tip is brought to you in association with the Barbados Cancer Society Breast Screening Program, celebrating its 15th anniversary.